Modern Warfare 3 here, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, has me in a bit of an M4 mood. So that's why I'm going to start a new series that I'm going to have on my channel about New York lols. It's supposed to be internet slang combined with the word law. I am hilarious. I understand this. Now, Modern Warfare 3 is going to take a little vacation. Don't worry, guys. I also bought Skyrim. I'm not a big fanboy or anything. But what this is going to be about, this whole series, and specifically this one today, are a more in-depth look at the ridiculous laws we have to deal with here in New York. Now, usually I do a bit of a rant where I'm sitting in front of my webcam, and I rant about New York's laws. And some people out there in the free states just can't even fathom some of the shit we have to deal with, and nor should they have to. It's unconstitutional, unbelievable, stupid, has no basis in reality whatsoever. I couldn't dream up these laws if I had to in a million years. And I guess whenever I want to make a part of this series here, New York lols, I will take one of these ridiculous laws, and don't worry, there are tons. I could probably make a new video on one every week for the next 400,000 years. And I'll examine it, and you can try to explain this to me. By the way, that's a rhetorical question because it can't be done, as long as you have at least 1/3 of a brain cell. So what are we on today? The high-capacity magazine ban. It's almost funny to even say that, the high-capacity magazine ban. First of all, that's a misnomer, because a high-capacity magazine for an AR would be above 30 rounds, because the standard capacity magazines for the AR are in fact 30 rounds. So first of all, the name right there is incorrect. So here we have my M4, and for the little fanboys out there who are going to go off, no, it's not an actual M4, it's the M4 style, which is very, very accepted in the community as being called an M4, but this is my bushy right here, and it's got a magazine in it. So let's take it out, safety check the gun. I'm not going to need the gun, this is about the magazine, but let's safety check it, okay? Oh my god, there's bullets in it. Yes, there is. I know that it's loaded, but I know that there's none in the chamber. Okay. Now, the magazine. I am almost 100% sure people in these shitty-ass states like New York and California and Massachusetts and any other state that actually bans these high-capacity magazines. Again, another laugh, high-capacity magazines, that's hilarious. I am pretty sure that any place that bans these has no idea whatever a magazine actually is. Hell, before I bought my first magazine for an M4, I thought it would weigh a lot more than it did, but they're actually very, very light. Now, I'm going to get into this a little bit more and talk about the high-capacity magazine as I'm emptying all the rounds out of it. So, in New York, since 1994, we have had a high-capacity magazine ban. Now, this bullshit was dreamed up by Bill Clinton because he was doing so shitty statistically that he had to do something that was going to make him look good. So he was going to invent a bill that was going to eradicate crime overnight. You were going to wake up one day and going from being the worst place on earth to the best place on earth overnight. Well, I say worst place on earth in his mind. But anyway, it was going to eradicate it overnight. And this was the assault weapons ban. And that happened in 1994. And what it did was limit the features you could have on semi-automatic rifles by their aesthetic appearance only. So you can tell how much crime that stopped. The year that he did that, not one single weapon in the top 5 used in violent crimes, not one single weapon in the top 5 used on violent crimes was affected at all. Not one of them. So I'm glad they're getting their bases in reality and not just fear-mongering. He lied. So, with this this assault weapons ban was the high-capacity magazine thing. You can't have a magazine for a semi-automatic rifle, or even a bolt-action rifle, with the ability to hold more than 10 rounds. Now, some people might say, well, what do you need more than 10 rounds there for? Only a criminal would need more than 10 rounds. I have a video about, that dumbass rhetorical question there. Why would you need things like this? If you want to play the need game, which, who dreamed up the need game? Who the hell said you're the grand poobah of deciding what I need and don't need? And who the hell even said we need a need? Anyway, that's funny. People who play that game, though, I'd like to ask them, well, who needs a car that goes over 65 miles an hour? The national speed limit here in America. I understand in New Mexico, I believe there's some places that go 70, but we'll lower that. That's too dangerous. So I'd like to find somebody to point out why we need a car that goes over 65 miles an hour. We don't? Or, you know, you see how stupid your dumbass logic is when you say we need to limit these magazine capacities. They always point to things like Columbine and such, and I get a giggle from that. Not from Columbine, but from the fact that the weapons used in Columbine didn't use high-capacity magazines anyway. They used 10-rounders. I think maybe the Tech 9 that one of those jackoffs had maybe an over 10-round magazine, but most of them were pump-action shotguns and a 10-round semi-automatic. So anyway, back to the magazine here. This is the big, scary, high-capacity magazine, but this is legal in New York, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So we have this high-capacity magazine ban that happened with Bill Clinton. It expired in 2004, and all the smart states realized that it did a big goose egg to the crime. Even the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms said, yeah, it didn't really do anything, we're going to get rid of it. But the, geez, I'm beginning to run out of words for stupid people here in New York, so I'll just call them Jigglypuffs. The Jigglypuffs here in New York said, yeah, we're just going to keep this assault weapons ban, even though it didn't really do anything, and we're going to split the assault weapons ban and the high-capacity magazine ban into two different things. So that means that the assault weapons ban has its own things, and the high-capacity magazine ban has its own things. But they didn't realize that that works more in the favor for us than their stupid little agenda. And I'll get to that in a second. But here we go. A high-capacity, also known as a standard capacity, AR Santang bag. I don't know what the acronym is. It's SATANG or something like that. Your standard magazine. It's stamped, I believe, aluminum on the outside. There's a floor plate. This happens to be from OK Industries. They're a pretty good brand. And I bought this used with my gun. This was made before 1994, which was the cutoff for their stupid little high-capacity magazine ban, and therefore it's legal in New York. Legal with an L. I can have as many of these as I want in New York as long as they're made before 1994. Matter of fact, here's two more of them with 30 rounds in them. So let's take this apart and see if we can find the evil demon in this magazine, because I'm pretty sure he's in there, otherwise why would we have to ban them? So I'm going to take these apart. Now, normally there's a way you can take them apart by sticking a little, the tip of a bullet in that hole and pulling out, but I never got that to work. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take my Leatherman. Okay, I'm going to take my Leatherman here, and I'm going to pry the bottom off of this magazine. I'm going to put it right under this little lip here, and pull back, and out pops the bottom. Boing. It's a jack-in-the-box, ladies and gentlemen. Pull out the spring, and attached to the spring is the follower. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, I can see straight through it. I don't see the deaths of millions of people in there. Maybe the camera's not focusing properly. Let me tap to focus here. I don't see Satan in there. I don't see innocent people killed in there. Huh. Now, I'm going to propose a theory here. I'm going to propose a theory. Now, follow me on this. I don't really have the scientific backing for this. But I'm going to bet that this stamped piece of aluminum right here, this spring, and this piece of plastic here, didn't kill all those people. Whether it be which is the most recent popular one, the Arizona shooting, or Columbine, or the Virginia Tech shooter. It doesn't really strike me that these three items did that. That's incredible. Huh. That's really got me stumped. So, yes, in New York, high-capacity magazines banned anything over 10 rounds. Normal capacity magazines banned. And the pre-bans are not. The ones made before 1994 are not. The only part of the magazine, this is where it gets even stupider in New York, the only part of the magazine that is the magazine is this body right here. You can have high-performance springs, you can have a new Magpul anti-tilt follower, which I actually plan on getting for this thing, and you can put that all in the magazine. You can switch out every part that you want, you just can't replace the magazine body. There was even a thing that went before, I don't know, it was the BATFE or the Supreme Court, something that decided you can even replace the body of the magazine as long as you keep it, because the new one will just be considered a parts kit for repairing a magazine prior to 1994. Now, when you have to get into that little cheesy crap for a law that should be something serious, it's pretty stupid. Okay? I don't know how this magazine here, let me check one more time. Nope, nothing in there. I don't see how this magazine here is one iota more dangerous or less dangerous than a PMAG made yesterday. Well, that's because it's not. And I've already shown in another video how it takes, God, 2 seconds to switch out a magazine, so you're not preventing anybody from, spraying down a lot of people, I commend Arizona for this right here. Even after the terrible tragedy where the congresswoman was shot with a 33-round Glock magazine, they didn't have the bullshit knee-jerk reactions that New York would have. Even after that happened, they didn't jump out and say, we're going to ban these high-capacity magazines, man, this is ridiculous. They said, hey, a lunatic shot this lady, not a magazine, not a gun, not any of that stuff. New York gets its priorities a little fucked up when it comes to who to put the blame on. If it was New York's choice and we had a congresswoman shot here in New York, they wouldn't say a crazy person shot her. They would say, oh my God, that's the responsibility of Bushmaster, that's the responsibility of the person that made the mag, that's the responsibility of the UPS driver that drove the magazines to the place, that's the responsibility of the Starbucks person who served the UPS guy coffee, that's the responsibility of the person that furnished the Starbucks that gave the guy coffee, that's the responsibility of the gas station that gave gas to the delivery person who furnished Starbucks to give the guy coffee to deliver the mags to the gun store where the guy bought it. Shut the fuck up. There's only one person responsible, and he's not right here, okay? Holy magazine here ain't what's responsible. Not one magazine is legal in New York post-ban with 10-round magazines. So what you can do, though, because they decided to separate it into 2 different parts, the assault weapons ban and the high-capacity magazine ban, is you can have pre-ban magazines and post-ban guns. You can have pre-ban magazines and pre-ban guns, but what you can't have is any post-ban magazines like this one right here, over 10 rounds in either gun. So the only thing that differentiates what makes these mags legal or not is when this piece of metal, not even the spring or the follower, this piece of metal was made. If you think that that's stopping any crime whatsoever, and it's not just a feel-good policy, then you please tell me that in your comments and I will quickly block you from this channel. So yeah, that is law number 1. That is absolutely the opposite of what the laws should be. To review, you're not the person, anybody out there who's telling me, why do I need this magazine? You're not the person that decides what I need for my life. B, I don't think any part of the Constitution says, as long as you provide need for anything. That whole need thing, I don't know, that just drives me crazy. Why do you need this? Why do you need that? Why do you need to not have your mouth sewn to the back of a frickin' Brooklyn City bus? I mean, who said anything about need? And that's the second thing. And third of all, apparently, this piece of metal right here is what kills innocent people. So yeah, I don't think the high-capacity magazine ban in New York will ever get, overturned or revoked, so we keep having to get the pre-ban, but that's number 1. Other ideas I have for this New York LOLs series, the assault weapons ban, which is funnier than hell, assault weapons ban like the one California adopted, where the Walther P22, a 22 Plinker pistol, is an assault weapon in California. That's always fun. There's also Cobus, which I've been through before. I don't know if I could do a whole episode on that. The pistol, but I have my whole vlog on that. There's just so much bullshit that I will get into about New York whenever I decide to make one of these LOLs videos to bring to the rest of the world the tyranny and bullshit and wastes of money and just feel-good crap that is going on here in New York. Okay, that's video 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Rate, comment, subscribe, yada, 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 yada. That's what everybody says. So, thanks for watching.